Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chat Show podcast. I'm your host, Justin Everett. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me here today on the program and for being my co host. I also want to thank all you fine folks for joining me today as well and for listening. Today on the show, as always, I'm going to tell you all a crazy, interesting, unbelievable, intense story that happened to me in my life. So if we're all ready, here we go. So this is the story about my old Italian football coach in middle school. His name was Coach Mandani, and he was a big, fat Italian dude. And he was just crazy. And I remember, he would just do crazy things. Like one time when we were having practice, the dude was eating a cannoli, and then he stuck it in his pants. And I ran up to him. I was like, "What is this?" He said, "What?" I said, "You got a cannoli hanging out of your pants." I said, "Normal coaches eat power bars or freaking protein bars. You're eating a freaking cannoli." So he had a cannoli hanging out of his pants. And then another time he was eating a meatball sub, and a meatball rolled onto the field, and someone tripped on it. I was like, "Dude, you're supposed to be a coach, not a freaking food critic." So anyway, it was crazy about that. And then one time we had an away game in some town, I don't forget where it was, and after the game we stopped at Fuddruckers, a burger joint. And when you go there you can make your own burger. And so I'm up there making my burger, and he's standing next to me making his, and I kind of smell something. It was the onions, and they kind of really stunk. So I just kind of say very softly under my breath, "Something stinks." And then he turns to me and at the top of his lungs yells, "Something stinks!" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think you heard me." "I heard you, I'm not deaf." And I said, I just said, "Oh, I was just saying those onions stink." "No way, I just ate some of those. Let me see." He reaches his hand in the thing of onions, gets a handful, shoves them up his nose like he's sniffing drugs, and sniffs them. Oh, now that you mention it, they do kind of smell. Oh, they're kind of ripe." And then his eyes start watering because he smelled the onions like an idiot. And he goes, "Oh, wait, now my eyes are watering like the Thames River. I gotta go in the bathroom." So he goes in the bathroom, comes out, we just hear, "Stupid onions." And then, and then he comes back, "Man, those onions stunk." And he walks over to the table where we're sitting, and there's other customers around us, and he's just hollering, "Those stinky onions." We're like, "Coach Mandani, we get it, they stink, you need to lower your voice, you're making a scene." "I don't care, they need to know, these onions stink. Onions usually stink, but not that bad. That smelled like a skunk spraying a fart. They stunk." And I was like, I don't think they stunk that bad. It smelled like a skunk vomited and then ate it and then vomited again and sprayed it. I was like, it does not smell that bad. And he goes, "Those onions stunk." And he just stands up. "Did anyone else get those stinky onions?" And everyone's just staring at him. He is embarrassing us, making a scene. And then he goes up to this woman. "Did you get those stinky onions?" He starts going up to random customers asking him, "Did you get those stinky onions? Did you get those stinky onions?" And he asked this man, "Did you get those stinky onions?" And he picks up the man's burger bun and looks in the burger as he's asking him, "Did you get those stinky onions?" And he looks in the burger. "Oh, no, you're good. You didn't get no onions." Anyway, did anyone else in this freaking restaurant get those stinky freaking onions? And I'm like, "Dude, you just ruined that guy's burger. You stuck your nasty hand in it that was just digging in those onions." And then finally I'm like, "You know what, Coach Mandani? Let's just leave." "Fine, yes, let's get out of here." And then he goes up to the to the cashier. "You need to do something about those stinky onions. Gosh, those stink. Oh, it smells..." You're like dying laughing from this. He goes, "It smells like those onions. You know what they smelled like? They smelled like mothballs in an old woman's purse. They stunk. It smelled like a skunk was smuggling mothballs in his chest or something. Oh, it stunk. It reminded me of mothballs, skunk spray, and pee." And I'm like, "Okay, we get it, they stink, we don't need the detail." Anyway, he's telling all this to the poor cashier, hollering, screaming, making a scene, embarrassing us, saying, "You need to do something about those stinky onions. You could grill the things, something. Gosh." My eyes are watering so bad we could start a freaking slip and slide. Hey kids, come to the slip and slide from these stinky onions. They're making my eyes water. Gosh, it stinks. And, I'm guiding them out. I'm like, Coach Mandani, we need to go. We get it. They stink. Let's go. Stinky onions. So anyway, he pretty much made a scene and embarrassed us over some onions. All because I mumbled a comment under my breath. Had I not mumbled that comment under my breath, the whole crazy, embarrassing Coach Mandani making a scene, experience could have been avoided. But again, I didn't think he heard me, and if he did hear me, I didn't think he'd say anything. So it was crazy. And then after that, we went on a tour of the Texas Ranger Museum in Waco. But the woman was a foreigner giving us the tour, and she had a really thick foreign accent, and we couldn't understand her. But we figured we'd just look around anyway. And then as she's giving us information about the museum, Coach Mandani says, "I can't understand what she's saying. Let's get out of here." We're like, huh? What do you mean? "I can't understand what she's saying. Her accent's too thick. Let's get out of here. Her accent's thicker than the butter on my cannoli. Gosh, it's thicker than the cream in my cannoli filling. It's too thick. I usually like thick stuff. I like my meat sauce thick. I like my marinara thick. I like everything piled on thick. But this accent, it's too thick. I can't understand anything she's saying. Let's get out of here." And I'm like, that's so rude. She's trying to give us a tour and be nice and courteous. And, well, it would be nice and courteous if I could understand her. And so anyway, that was Coach Mandani. He was crazy. And then that one time we got a new equipment manager, and there were, helmets and jock straps all over the place. And Coach Mandani's like, "There's helmets and jock straps all over the place. What's going on? Where's the equipment manager? Where's John?" I was like, "Well, John moved. We got a new equipment manager coming in tomorrow, and his name's Wunch." "What is a wunch? Is that the thing that you hold your tire up from the pavement?" I said, "No, that's a wedge." "Then I don't know what that is." And calm down, calm down. Anyway, Coach Mandani was crazy, and he loved food. He was always eating, and he taught history. But I made a joke. If he was the computer teacher, would be the assignment. "Okay, class, I'm Coach Mandani, the computer teacher. Your assignment today: download the frickin' PDF file of the Olive Garden menu so I know what I want for lunch." Your assignment, okay, class, here's your assignment for the day: download the deli menu, the PDF file of the deli menu. Download it. "Oh, here's your assignment today: download the PDF file of the Mazzoli's menu so I know what I want." That's what it would be like if he was the computer teacher. So anyway, Coach Mandani, he was quite something. He was quite the character, and it was crazy. I hope you all enjoyed that crazy, unbelievable, intense story. Tyler, I know you did, from your laughter. Loud laughter. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Tyler, for joining me. If you want to hear more of this, just subscribe to the channel or tune in for more crazy stories from me. Anyway, that's about all the time we have. I'm Justin Everett. Thank you all for listening to the Chat Show podcast. We'll see you next time.